Everyone in India thinks they are middle class, and almost no one actually is. Only 2% of Indians are actually middle income, according to a Pew survey. Up to 95% of India still qualifies as poor or low income, the vast majority of India's 1.2 billion citizens. For the globe, the equivalent proportion is 71%. As far as middle income Indians go, only 2% of the country actually falls into this zone, compared to 13% of the globe. Dramatic, historic reduction in global poverty. Yet, despite this, the actual number of people who could be considered middle income remained under 15%. The thresholds are based on various things, with $2 being the daily per capita income level under which people are globally considered poor, and $2 to $10 fitting people in under the low income category. As per this measure, the middle class falls into those who earn between $10 and $20 a day. As a reminder of how low this still is, the study reminds us that the poverty line in the United States comes in at around $16 on the upper end of what this report considers middle income. Although the poverty rate in India fell from 35% in 2001 to 20% in 2011, the share of the Indian population that could be considered middle income increased from 1% to just 3%, the report said. Instead of a burgeoning middle class, India's ranks of low-income earners swelled. Many of these were people hovering closer to $2 than $10 in daily income, and thus still away from the transition to middle income status. China, which saw its middle income proportion go up from 3% in 2001 to 18% in 2011. What makes it slightly more ironic is the share of Indians who call themselves middle class. Middle income and middle class aren't the same thing, of course, but one would expect a fair amount of overlap between the two categories. Yet research done by Devesh Kapoor and Milan Vaishnav based on a multi-year panel survey by the Center for Advanced Study of India suggests that about half the Indians in practically any bracket, urban, rural, lowest income, highest income, all self-identify as middle class. The Pew Research study points out the essential problem with having such a broad definition for middle class. Although we keep hearing about India's massive middle class, probably because so many Indians think they fall into the category, the reality is that only a tiny amount of Indians qualify to be in a very conservative middle income category, and the gap in living standards between economically advanced nations and developing ones is not narrowing.